Well, hey everyone, it's me again. But it's Saturday, not Sunday. But when you see this, it'll be Sunday. So there's that. We have a market recap, such as it is. But before we get into that, I just have a couple of things. One pattern to share with you and a little story. So most of you guys saw my epic fail on my displaying the loveys idea. And a few of y'all felt sorry for me and sent me some ideas over on Instagram. So one of them that I liked, because I could order it on Amazon and I didn't have to try and hunt down a store and all that good stuff, was Nancy sent me a link to these hooks. You get like 30 of them. It was less than $10. So I ordered it. I paid extra, even though I have Prime, I paid extra for shipping to get it the next day. And I get the package. It was delivered sometime between 4 a.m. and 8 a.m. And when I went outside in the morning, it was on the porch. Jenna had brought it in, put it on the porch before she went to work. So I didn't open it right away. But when I did, I was in such shock. I was expecting these hooks, and I'll put in a picture over here. I didn't take a photo of it myself. I should have, so I'm snagging this picture off of Amazon. But I didn't have hooks. I had this really short green pleated skirt. Kind of like a school uniform or, I don't know, tennis skirt or something in the size extra, extra large. And I'm like, oh my God. I can't believe this. So I go online, fill it out that they sent me the wrong thing, have to package it up, get a UPS label and drop it off at CVS for UPS pickup. And see if I can't find something at Walmart. And usually my Walmart is useless. It's like the only game in town. They are very limited on the variety that they carry, so they can cram more things into the store. So they usually don't have anything that'll work. But I took my chances. I headed to CVS, dropped off that package so that I can get my money back. Didn't want to take the chance of them sending me the wrong thing again and reordering. Stopped at the post office because Jenna's birthday gifts were coming in. Then headed over to Walmart. And I went into Walmart and I was successful at finding something that would work. So they have these. This is actually for a shower curtain. This is the package. Now I had to pay a little more for less. I only have 24 hooks instead of 30, and with tax and everything, it was a little bit more than what Amazon cost for fewer amounts. But I do not have a lovey in front of me, but I'll show you what you would do. If you were displaying a lovey, you would just hook it through, and then your lovey can hang up. And that's how I had my loveys displayed in the market. But I could not believe that they sent me a skirt. Now, I almost could have understood if it was another hardware piece, but not clothing. That's like not even close. Not even close. So we had that. So I did not, I actually haven't, this will be day 3 that I have not picked up my crochet hook. But I was able to make one of each of the other colors that I had in the Juicy Couture so that I can have a full color representation on the scrunchies. I made one bird on a swing, and I can't show it to you because that one actually sold, so that my little spinner rack would be full. And that was it. Well, no. Well, actually, this other thing I'm going to show you, I had it made, but I was waiting to share it for her to have her pattern live. So I lied when I said I didn't have a lovey here in front of me, because I do. But I didn't want to spoil the surprise till I finished. I had to finish that story first before I could show you this. So this is a mini Axolotl lovey, and it is by Eclectic Scribbles, and I'll put her link for the pattern in the description down below. She sells through Shopify, I believe it is. So it's very quick. It was very easy to do. I did have to, of course, because, you know, I am the yarn under person. I had to adjust on the legs. You know, this is kind of like doing the bobble stitch. Everybody, we have to move things. But really easy. It even in the pattern says you can stuff it if you want to. I chose to do the lovey form because I have an axolotl pattern, but I think they're cute. And this is Bernat Baby, and I think that this darker might be Big Twist Plush, maybe. I don't know. I need to start stuffing my labels like inside the thing so that I know the color name and who makes them. But yes, this was a, I think it took me less than 45 minutes to make it. It was real quick and easy. And this is the same person that did the possum lovey that I tested, which when I displayed him, he was hanging upside down by his tail, you know, hanging like a possum hangs. So there is that. They are, like I said, it took me less than 45 minutes to make this. It was pretty easy. And because of the lack of stuffing, it's less expensive to make. Not that the stuffing's super expensive, but you know, costs are costs. So that is like what I've made. So let's talk about this market. And I apologize if I shake the table. My tripod is somewhere in my car. I've only unloaded a few things. And I'm not sure exactly where my tripod is. But I could not take as much video as I wanted or intended to do because the music was so loud. We weren't very far from where they were set up with these big giant speakers. It was so loud. I couldn't hear myself think. I could barely hear what the shoppers were saying to me. It was really loud. And then I posted a little Instagram reel and a short, which I haven't done a YouTube short in a long time. And I couldn't even hear like the music I'm trying to select because you know that the music in the background is going to be copyrighted and I don't want to get in trouble for copyright. So I have no idea if I selected at the time, if I had selected something that went with what I was trying to show. Oh, so yeah. So the instructions were to get there after 4 o'clock. That's when they start to close the streets. And I was like, oh, this might be bigger than what I think it's going to be. but it wasn't. It was one street. They block off either end of the road so that cars cannot go up and down this particular block. And there, the food trucks are there. They had tables out in the center for people that they can actually sit down and eat their food. There was maybe 15, at the most 20 vendors. I want to say it was closer to 15 regular vendors, not counting the food trucks. There was probably 8 or 9 food trucks there. I mean, it is billed as Brooksville Bites Nights. So the theme of it is the food. And if you happen to be there selling something else, then, you might get to benefit from it. So I've got the car loaded to the gills. The canopy, the side panels, the tables, the display racks, my product, weights for the canopy, my wagon, all this stuff. I mean, I am prepared this time. When we get there, we do not have to use the wagon. We were allowed to pull up, unload the car, and then go park and come back and set up. Well, since John was with me, one of us goes and parks the car and one stays with the stuff. You don't have to worry about anything. So, first thing, set up the canopy, then the tables. And then you can rock and roll from there. So we go to set up the canopy, and even with the two of us, now this is only like our second time using it at a market. So like third or fourth time actually like trying to set it up. We still struggled. And luckily somebody was nice enough to come over and help us. Then same thing happened when we were taking it down. It was not closing up as easy as it has in the past. Actually, it's the third market. We did 2 outdoor markets before. So, and we didn't struggle with it the way we struggled with it last night. Now, it could be because we were on a road instead of the grass. But it was one of those red brick roads. Oh my goodness. And they actually had real bathrooms, no porta potty. So we get the car unloaded. Didn't need the wagon. We set up the canopy with help. We get the tables set up. Did a Z shape. Got the racks assembled. Those wire cube racks, they are a pain in the butt. I'm going to use it until I can come up with something different. I mean, I have those shoe racks that I purchased before, but I'm not a fan of those. Everything falls over and it doesn't have a back to it. So my thinking was, at least with the cubes, it's got sides and it's got a back and it's not that deep. So you can like move the plushie back and have it leaning against something so it'll stand up. And I used the bottom front. I put like a grid so that I could stand plushies up against it. And I used the one side of it as a grid wall to display the plushies. So we get that done, and I couldn't decide what to take with me. I had 4 bags, pretty much full, and 1 small tote. Now, the small tote, I put my, the dishcloths, the bandanas, the market bags, keychains, and the little bird swings in. That way it was separate and not in with this other mess. And I just figured when I get there, as I'm setting up, I can decide what I want to put on the table. I was trying to think strategically. Well, almost everything went on the table. I mean, John was helping, and he was trying to fill in what he saw as emptiness. So a lot more ended up on the tables than what I thought I was going to be putting on the tables to begin with. But it didn't look bad. It was definitely busy looking, but it didn't look bad. So I'm going to show you the before And then the after sales, you'll be able to tell the difference because the before is in the daylight and the after is in the dark. And then there's one little clip that Jenna got of me in the middle, but I might wait to show you that till, I don't know, I might throw it in. We'll just see. So here it goes. But pay attention. Nah, we won't play that game because it's hard to tell this time what's missing and what's not missing. So, all right, here we go. Okay, so that was it. They kind of looked very similar. You couldn't tell. I couldn't tell just by standing back and looking what may or may not have sold. So, doing the setup process, I had an idea for signage, and I just wanted price points to put on those new that utility cart, looks like the baskets. So I had printed some out on some cardstock and I laminated it, cut it, and I put magnets on the back, thinking I could just stick it to the metal shelf and everything would be fine. Well, there's a little bit of a slant, so I couldn't put it on the front wire part. I had to put it on the pole, and then they just kind of spun around. So I'm going to have to get some more of these from Dollar Tree. And then you can just, it's a little mini chalkboard with the clothespin on the back and just clip it on those wire racks and not have to worry about it. So that's an easy fix. And a baby wipe works great for removing this chalk marker that they give you with it, and you can change the price if you need to. Like if you had one shelf for all $7 items and they all sold out, and you want to add $10 items there, you just use a little baby wipe, clean this off, put $10 on it, and fill that shelf with your $10 items or whatever. So we finally get set up, and it was hot. It was hot. Right, I heard them talking right before we got there. It had just finished raining. Now it didn't rain hard because there weren't any puddles or anything like that in the street. But if you know Florida, a little bit of rain, add it to some sunshine, instant steam bath. So it was hot. We get the canopy up, we get the tables up, get the tablecloths on, we get the racks on, we're putting up the plushies, and I am like drenched. Now John was smart. He brought an extra shirt. One to work in, and then a shirt to change into afterwards, so he wasn't sitting in there in a stinky, sweaty shirt. I didn't think to do that, so I'm in my soaking wet shirt. My hair was drenched from the sweat, and of course I had it clipped up to keep the hair off my neck. And then we remembered the fan this time. Now I'll show you what I did with the fan. Let me tell you, that fan is a game changer. That thing worked really good. For a battery-operated fan, it was fantastic. And if you are in a hot, humid climate and you don't have a fan, I highly, highly recommend getting a fan. That was a game changer. And when I wasn't using it, I turned it so that it would blow over to my little vendor neighbors. And then when I'd come back, I'd put it back on me. But it stayed running the entire 3 hours that the market was. That was 6 to 9 was the market. Anyhow, so I get it all set up. And the first person that came over to the booth just came over to look at the camel. Now, they didn't buy it. I still have the camel. But they had never seen one before. And they asked me, was it my own pattern or was it a pattern that I bought? Of course, I'm not going to lie. I told them it was a pattern that I bought. Then the next person that came up, as soon as she walked into the booth, do you have a moose? No, I do not have a moose. Had I had a moose in lovey form, I probably would have sold a moose. But I did not have one. So that was a bust. These two, let's say like 8 to 10-year-old kids came in the booth, a boy and a girl. Their mom was across the road at the other booth that was across from us, putting some kind of hair thing in. I forget what the little girl said it was, but the music was so loud I could barely hear them talking anyways. So she picks up, I'll just use one of these. She picks up one of the snakes and she has it and she's doing this on her back. And I'm like, oh my God, don't do that. Especially as sweaty as I was feeling, I can only imagine how sweaty these little kids were running around. Just, don't do that. I was not the only crochet vendor there, which kind of surprised me because this market coordinator is usually very good at not duplicating vendors. But there was one other crochet vendor there, and she was very nice. I talked with her on and off throughout the night. Like me, she just started doing markets back in November, and she has wrote her first pattern, and she was telling John that she needed pattern testers. So he came over and was telling me about it, so I went over and talked to her about it, and I sent her an email today. Got a couple other people that might be interested in testing her pattern, and we'll see if we can help her out. So we did that. All right, so my first sale of the day was to my vendor neighbor, the one that I kept turning the fan on to. She bought a bee on a swing. And if I have pictures, I will put them in here. but I might not have pictures of all of them because, you know, I was a slacker. So she bought a bee on a swing and a mystery bag. My next sale, after people dug through everything and then they realized I had the little clearance basket out, they bought one of my original Octos that I used Bernat for, that, you know, the Bernat that just felt sticky and it was hard to work with and just generally gross. So I had a couple of those, I think 3 of them in there that they've been around since last November. So I put them in there. The other Octos, they're just so much nicer out of the other yarn. Now that Bernat is changing their formula, maybe I would do them again in that. I don't know. So she bought a clearance Octo. Then 2 ladies came in, and I think there was 1 kid, and they spotted the Chunky Mon. So the first lady with the kid, she got the Pikachu Chunky Mon. And then the lady that was with her, she actually got 2 things, and I can't remember what Chunky Mon it was. It was one of the ones that was kind of bluish and teal color. And of course, when we tore down, things didn't say separated. They just kind of got thrown back into these bags. And yeah, so it would be a process to figure out which one it was. But she bought that, and she bought one of the Crochet by Jenna dragons. And that's the first one I've sold at all the different markets that I've gone to since I've made them. I've taken at least, you know, 2 with me. So, and that one was the one that was made with the black pom-pom. So they finished up, and oh no, this lady did buy one other item. So she had a little girl with her. Now that I'm looking at my list, I know. The little girl wanted the orange kitty that was in the box. She wanted the cat in a box. And the mom was telling her no because of the price. So I told the mom, there are cats at the other end of that same table without the box. Ouch. That's $5 cheaper. And the little girl didn't. She didn't want to hear it. She's like, but that one has a box. You put it in a box when you get home. She wanted that orange one with the box. She didn't get it. She did get a loaf cat, though. I think she got the gray one with the little bit of white on the face. And so that was my biggest sale. The 3 items, and that was that. Then I sold Bird on a Swing, and that one was a mallard, and it was the last one. That was the one I had just made to fill up the rack, and I am like 100% positive I do not have a picture of that, unless I can snag one out of the video clip if the thing was turned in the right direction. So we sold that, and then we're just sitting there, and this gentleman comes in, and he's looking at all the turtles. And now he was over at the other lady's booth for quite a long time, and they're talking with her and looking at all her things. And then at some point when he left, he came over and he's looking at mine. He was looking at the turtles. And he said, you know how people collect the rubber duckies and like put them in their cars or whatever? He's doing that with turtles. So the other lady is doing a custom order for him. And with mine, he bought one off my table. He got one of the little sea turtles, the Myrtle the turtle from, I don't remember. The ones that I said look like Squirt. But he got like the smallest one, I think, that I had of those. So that one was like, it was pretty cheap. Because it turned out so much smaller than the others. But he was happy with that. He took my card. He doesn't live far from where, actually he lives near John's sister's. So I guess I'm closer than what the other lady is. So we'll see if he ever reaches out again. So we sold that. And then we sold another clearance Octo. And somebody bought, the next sale was a mini bird. The bigger version of the mini birds that I did. Not the real big ones, but bigger ones. I went up a little bit on the price on that. And it was a mallard, I think. I wrote it down as chick, so it might have been a little chick. I thought it was a mallard. And that same person also bought a rooster coaster. This was the first time I took the coasters. When I was showing those before, I had some where I had started to make them and I didn't have enough of the yarn to make a set of 4. And a lot of you guys suggested just sell them individually. Some people like to buy one to take for their desk. And that's what happened, is I took those oddball ones that I couldn't put into a set of 4, put an individual price on it, and I sold a single coaster, the rooster. So that means that that was a chick. She did not get a mallard. She got a chicken because it was like, oh, here's the chicken coaster, but now here's my little desk buddy that's also a chicken. That type of thing. So it was probably the white one with the comb on the head. You know, it's just last night. I should be able to remember all this, right? So, by this point, I want to say it was like 7:30, and I'm having to put up the lights, which, thank goodness they're magnetic, so I can just like, boom, and they're up. It's not something that takes a long time to do. And they're pretty bright. I only had 2. I might get a couple of more so that I can put them in each corner of the booth for the next night market, because it'll be darker longer the next time. And then the one after that will be even more darker longer, like darker the whole time. And sorry, some message just bounced across the screen. So that was like 7:30, and I'm like, ugh, it'd be nice to do another $100 in sales. It didn't happen. So my next sale was a monkey. It was Madeline Mako's little mini monkey pattern. And then the very last sale of the evening was out of the clearance basket. It was a Mabel chicken, which I just don't seem to be able to give them away. But being in the clearance basket I had a sale on one. So that kid that bought that chicken was in and out of the booth. He was there with a parent. They had their own booth. That kid was in and out and looking at everything. I really thought he was going to end up getting some of the Chunky-mon. And there was something else he was looking at that he really liked. I don't remember what it was now. But he ended up just getting a chicken out of the clearance basket. And what I ended up doing was taking a new tag, rewriting it with the original price in one color ink, and then in red, slash through the old price and put the new price so that people could see that they were getting a deal. That was all my sales. So I sold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I sold 14 items. Almost everything was under $10. There was only 1, 2, 3, 4 items that were higher than $10. So my total sales for the day was $120. I'd have to do the math. My setup fee, you got a deal if you did 3 months and paid for all 3 months. Instead of it being $50 each, $150, you got it for $125. So whatever 125 is divided by 3. That's my booth fee. So I did 56 in cash, oh my goodness, $56 in Square and $64 in cash. So a total of $120. Now, some of y'all probably think, well, that really stinks. I don't think it does, because I could have done that same setup practice here at home and not made a penny. Did the same amount of work in the same heat, sweated my butt off, set everything up just to get the practice, and have nothing. So I am fine with what I did in sales. Now, October, the same market, it's Brooksville Boo, like B-O-O, Boo. And from what the other vendors were telling me, it's like the best market of the year for that place. They have costume contests for the kids, contests for pets. It draws a much larger crowd with a lot of kids. So now that I know what to expect when I go to these markets, I won't take as much with me. I'll make it easier on myself to be able to set up the displays and all that. And it'll be easier for me to choose items to take because they gravitated towards the low-priced items. So that's what we take. I mean, you still have some good, decent-priced ones, but the bulk of what I will take with me next time will be the low-priced items. I did not sell a single Halloween item. No market bags, no loveys, no scrunchies. I had a lot of people looking at it. Didn't sell any. They're not quite in the Christmas mindset yet. Next month will be better. November and December is going to be fantastic. And speaking of December, I signed up for another market. Oh my goodness. So the way it stands now, I have 2-day market with Sue the second weekend of October. The next weekend on Friday night will be October Boo. Then I get a little bit of a break and I go in November. The third Friday will be my last time that I'm paid for at this market where I was at last night. And then the very next morning, so everything will stay in the car. The very next morning, I'm at the market that I did, the very first one, which happened to be my very best one that I've done so far. So that's November. And then December 7th, I'll be at the Pioneer Museum. They have some big Christmas market shopping thing there on the 7th. And then I'm doing a 2-day market, December 14th and 15th. And supposedly, this draws like a crowd of about 6,000 people. So I have that. And then, of course, January, I'm at that market that I've been dying to get into. So, after Sue and October Boo, I'll have like a month if I see things that I need to get prepped for when the markets really start to get good. So, there's that. All right, I've rambled enough. I've given you my market results, and hopefully I was able to show you pictures. If not, You guys know what I make. I show you guys everything. But we're going to go now, and we'll see you in the next video.